Welcome to the deep dive. We take the information you're curious about, extract those crucial insights, basically help you get informed without the overwhelm.
Exactly.
And you, our listener, we call you the learner, you pointed us towards a real classic, a cornerstone, really, of personal development. Think and Grow Rich.
Mm-hmm.
Your goal, as you told us, is to quickly get the core principles, those aha moments you really appreciate,
Right.
but without feeling like you're wading through tons of text.
Yeah, it can feel dense if you're just diving in cold.
So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We're digging into the foundational ideas of this, really influential book. We want to give you a solid grasp of what it's about and how it might be relevant for your own growth.
Absolutely. And it's important to frame this right. This isn't, a light beach read. It's designed for study, for reflection.
Right.
Dr. Miller Reese Hutchison, who actually knew Edison, called it a textbook on individual achievement. Said it required real engagement, study and meditation.
So actual work involved.
A different kind of work, yes. And his power isn't just theoretical. The author's own son, Blair, apparently used these principles successfully to deal with a major challenge he faced.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Dr. John R. Turner mentioned that, highlighting how practical it can be.
Okay, so think of this as your efficient guide. We're pulling out the key building blocks, the core philosophy, to give you a clear understanding. What's it all about? How can it impact your journey?
Let's do it.
All right, so where do we start? Maybe with one of the absolute core ideas, the power of desire.
Yeah, that's fundamental. What's really fascinating here is the book's central claim, this idea that thoughts are things.
Thoughts are things.
But not just any thoughts. They need to be combined with definiteness of purpose, persistence, and what the book calls a burning desire.
A burning desire, not just a whim.
Exactly. Not just, oh, that'd be nice. It's this potent driving force.
And the book uses a story to illustrate this, right? Edwin C. Barnes and Thomas Edison.
Yes, a really compelling story. Barnes had this intense, almost obsessive desire, the book says, to become a business associate of Thomas Edison.
And the key word there is associate, isn't it? He didn't just want a job.
Precisely. He wanted to work with Edison,
Yeah.
not just for him.
Yeah.
A very specific, clearly defined goal.
Okay.
And what's really remarkable is his determination. He faced two huge hurdles right away. One, he didn't know Edison at all.
No connection.
None. And two, he had no money to even get to New Jersey where Edison was.
Right. That sounds like a dead end for most people.
You'd think so. But Barnes was so driven, apparently he traveled by blind baggage.
Blind baggage. What's that?
Basically, sneaking onto a freight train. Illegally riding the rails.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so he just showed up.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Arrived unannounced, looking like a tramp according to the book, and just declared his intention to go into business with the great inventor. Edison himself apparently remembered that first meeting years later.
That takes some serious guts. Or conviction.
Or a burning desire. It really highlights how powerful that initial definite purpose can be in, smashing through obstacles that seem impossible.
So connecting this back to our listener, the learner. Their desire for knowledge, for those aha moments.
Yeah, that same intensity of desire can fuel the drive to seek out information, to really absorb it, to overcome maybe feeling overwhelmed by a topic.
So the insight isn't just wanting something.
No, it's the conviction, the unwavering belief, and the action that follows. That's what separates a real desire from just, wishful thinking. It makes you ask, what do you have that level of conviction for?
Good question. And that kind of leads nicely into the next point, doesn't it? This idea that riches, real wealth, actually start in your head with a state of mind.
Yeah, it's intriguing. The book suggests that accumulating wealth often starts not with just pure hard labor, not initially anyway,
Okay.
but more with a particular mental attitude, a specific state of mind combined with a really clear objective.
And the author claims he researched this extensively.
Oh, yeah. 25 years, he says, analyzing over 25,000 people, trying to understand how wealthy individuals actually got there. What was the process?
25,000. That's a lot of people. It kind of goes against the usual narrative, doesn't it? Work hard, grind.
It does. The book even mentions the business depression of 1929, suggesting it started to fade when fear lessened and faith grew. It hints at this link between collective mindset and economic outcomes.
So a connection between the internal world and the external reality.
That's the idea. And for the learner, interested in different perspectives, this challenges that conventional thinking. It suggests that shifting your internal focus, your beliefs,
Mhm.
That can actually pave the way for tangible results outside.
So it's not just positive thinking, but something more structured.
I think so. It's presented more as ongoing mental disciplines, defining the desire, believing you can achieve it, planning for it. It's a cycle.
Okay, desire, mindset, got it. Now the book gets practical, right? It lays out 6 steps to riches.
Yes, a concrete framework, supposedly, for turning that desire into actual money.
And a key part is feeling like you already have it before you do.
That's a crucial element, yeah. The emphasis is on feeling yourself in possession of the money before it physically shows up. This goes back to that burning desire and actively cultivating what it calls a money-conscious state of mind.
Money conscious, so really focusing on it, visualizing it.
Visualizing, yes, and truly believing in your ability to acquire it. It's presented as more than just wishful thinking. It's a deliberate mental practice.
And Andrew Carnegie is mentioned here, the steel guy.
Yeah, huge industrialist. Started as a laborer, amassed a massive fortune. He's held up as someone who applied these principles.
And Edison approved of these steps too.
Apparently so. Edison reportedly endorsed them as fundamental for achieving any definite goal, not just money, any clear objective.
That's quite an endorsement.
It is. And importantly, these steps aren't portrayed as needing, hard labor in the traditional sense or fancy degrees.
What do they need then?
Imagination. That's key. The ability to see possibilities, to look beyond luck or chance.
Imagination.
Hmm.
Which leads us to faith and autosuggestion. These can sound a bit out there.
They can, yeah. But the book explains faith not just in a religious sense, but as a state of mind, something you can actually cultivate intentionally
Oh.
through autosuggestion or, self-suggestion, affirmations maybe.
So talking to yourself.
In a structured, intentional way, yes.
Yeah.
The basic idea is if you repeat something to yourself consistently with belief,
Yeah.
you gradually come to accept it as true, whether it starts out true or not.
So we become what we think about.
Essentially, yes, that's the premise. The book says you consciously plant positive, empowering thoughts, and then you water them, so to speak, with emotion.
With feeling.
Exactly. That emotional connection is apparently key.
Yeah.
And it points to figures like Gandhi, suggesting his influence came partly from this immense, unwavering faith he projected. It shows the potential power.
It's not just mumbling words then.
No, definitely not. It emphasizes feeling the outcome, the emotion tied to it while you're doing the autosuggestion. That's what supposedly makes it stick in the subconscious.
Okay. Desire, mindset, the 6 steps, faith through autosuggestion. What's next in this philosophy?
Next up is imagination. Absolutely vital. The book calls it the workshop of the mind.
The workshop of the mind. I like that.
Yeah. It's the faculty, the mental space, where that desire starts to take shape, get form, find direction.
Where ideas are born.
Precisely.
Correct.
Where the intangible starts becoming tangible. And the book makes a huge claim here. Anything man can imagine, he can create.
That's a big statement.
It is. It points to things like flight, radio, harnessing electricity, all these massive advancements in the 50 years before it was written as proof of what imagination can unlock.
So our limits are mostly in our imagination.
Within reason, yes. The book argues our main limitation lies in how well we develop and use our imagination. It's presented as this massive, often untapped resource.
And there are different kinds, synthetic and creative.
That's right. It makes a distinction. Synthetic imagination is like rearranging existing ideas and concepts into new combinations.
Like remixing.
Kind of, yeah. Taking known things and putting them together differently. Creative imagination, on the other hand, is supposedly about tapping into, well, new ideas,
Yeah.
inspiration, developing something novel.
And which one is more relevant for growing rich?
The book suggests synthetic imagination is used more often in the practical process of turning desire into money.
So not always inventing something totally new, but maybe seeing a new way to combine existing things?
Exactly. Finding a new application, a new combination that solves a problem or meets a need. The book gives examples, like the story of the enchanted kettle, probably a precursor to a common appliance,
Right?
showing how fortunes can be built on ideas born from seeing existing things in a new light. It's often about that innovative application.
Okay, so these pieces are starting to connect. We have the desire, the mindset, the imagination. But you need a plan, right?
Absolutely critical. That's the next piece, organized planning. This is presented as the 6th step, the point where desire crystallizes into action,
Making it real.
turning the imagined into a concrete plan.
And you don't do this alone. There's the mastermind concept.
Yes, strongly emphasize, you need to ally yourself with a mastermind group.
What exactly is a mastermind group?
Well, it's described as a group, A collection of individuals whose cooperation and combined brain power are essential for creating and then carrying out your plans for wealth accumulation.
So like a personal advisory board or collaborators?
Could be either or both. The key is that their support and input are vital. The book stresses this alliance is fundamental. Compliance, cooperation, essential.
And it's a two-way street. You have to give something back.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about taking. You need to offer benefits, real value, to the members of your mastermind group in return for their cooperation. It has to be mutually beneficial.
Makes sense, a reciprocal relationship.
Exactly. It underscores that sustained collaboration needs that exchange of value. Everyone benefits.
Okay, now we keep coming back to desire, but specifically definiteness of purpose. Let's maybe hammer that home again. Why is it so important?
It's a constant refrain for a reason. The book just keeps saying success favors those who know exactly what they want and are absolutely determined to get it. No ambiguity.
Total clarity.
Crystal clear. It tells the story of Dr. Frank Gonzalez.
Right, you mentioned him.
Yeah, who apparently needed to raise $1 million for a project like yesterday. And he did it, supposedly, because he had this incredibly definite goal and a clear plan worked out in his head before he even asked for the money.
So the takeaway is big success isn't just about working hard randomly.
No. It's about targeted effort, driven by that definite aim and guided by specific principles. It's not just throwing effort at the wall.
It's strategic.
Very. And the book makes another great point here. Ideas born from imagination can often be way more powerful and valuable than physical things.
Like the publisher example.
Exactly. The publisher who supposedly boosted sales massively just by changing a book's title, same book. Different idea framing it. It shows the huge leverage an idea can have.
So sometimes the clever thought is worth more than the physical effort.
Often, yes. Creative thinking, strategic planning, huge impact. Now, the book also talks about marketing personal services, which feels really relevant today.
How so?
Well, it describes this shift happening, moving away from what it calls the rule of gold. Like, he who has the gold makes the rules.
Yeah.
Towards more of a golden rule approach. Treat others as you want to be treated. Partnership between employer and employee, basically. Shared value.
And the public is the ultimate boss.
That's the idea. The public's buying power means businesses. It mentions railroads. Streetcar companies back then had to start prioritizing customer service.
Yeah.
Building goodwill.
Makes sense. So how do you market yourself effectively in this model?
It introduces this QQS formula: quality, quantity, and spirit of service.
Do QS. Okay, break that down.
Sure. Quality, doing your work well, efficiently, with skill. Quantity, the habit of delivering your full capacity, doing all you can, maybe even a bit more.
Go on the extra mile.
Something like that. And then spirit. This is about your attitude. Agreeable, harmonious conduct. Making yourself easy and pleasant to work with. Fostering cooperation.
Ah, the soft skills.
Very much so. Carnegie, again, apparently put huge stock in agreeable conduct. He valued that harmonious spirit.
So QQS. Quality work, lots of it, with a good attitude.
That's the formula for effective, permanent marketing of your services, according to the book. In today's world, think of a freelancer. Quality work is essential. Quantity being reliable, delivering consistently, and spirit being collaborative, positive with clients. That's QQS in action.
It's a good reminder. Skills aren't always enough. How you show up matters.
Hugely. Your attitude, the spirit you bring, critical for long-term success.
Okay. Now, to be balanced, the book also talks about failure, right? Why people don't succeed.
Oh, yes. A whole list. 30 common causes of failure. It's like mapping out the pitfalls.
30. We probably can't cover all of those. What are some key ones?
Well, number one, unsurprisingly, is lack of a well-defined purpose. Vagueness about what you want.
We keep hitting that one.
It's central. Also, lack of ambition, just not aiming high enough. Insufficient self-education is noted, not just formal schooling, but continuous learning.
Okay. What else?
Lack of self-discipline, big one. Not controlling your negative emotions, letting fear, jealousy, anger run the show. Procrastination. And importantly, not using a mastermind, failing to benefit from others' brain power.
It's striking how many of those are internal. Mindset, discipline, purpose.
Exactly. Less about external circumstances, more about internal management.
All right, let's shift gears a bit. The book talks quite a bit about capitalism and opportunity, especially in the U.S. at that time.
It does. It paints the U.S. then as this land of pretty unique individual freedom. Freedom of thought, education, religion, choosing your profession.
Right.
And the right to own property, accumulate wealth. These freedoms themselves are presented as a huge opportunity.
And it uses that breakfast example.
A simple breakfast, but think about the complex organization, the capital, the logistics needed to get coffee, sugar, bread to your table. It highlights the service provided by the system, by capitalists coordinating all that.
Mm.
Now, the book acknowledges criticisms, Wall Street, big business get mentioned, but it aims for an impartial stance, basically saying, look, this system, flaws and all, is the framework that allows for this kind of wealth creation.
So it's the playing field.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
And within this system, there's a core principle, the law of economics.
Which is?
You have to provide useful service to legally acquire riches. You can't just get without giving value in return. That's the foundation.
Get without giving. Doesn't work long term.
Not according to this philosophy.
Yeah.
And it uses examples with people spending money on lipsticks, greeting cards, cigarettes, movies, to show the sheer scale of consumer demand. Vast opportunities exist to provide goods and services people want.
So find a need and fill it.
And provide useful service. The message is, capitalistic America offers the chance to render that service and collect riches in proportion to its value.
Okay. So within this framework, two more really crucial elements seem to be decision and persistence.
Absolutely vital. The power of making a decision, taking decisive action, even when it's risky.
The book uses historical examples.
Big ones. Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, the signing of the Declaration of Independence, decisions that required immense courage facing huge uncertainty and opposition.
Wow, high stakes.
Definitely. It emphasizes that kind of decisiveness is often necessary.
And once the decision is made?
Persistence. Unwavering persistence. The book is blunt.
Yeah.
There is no substitute for it. Failure is often just temporary defeat for those who lack persistence.
Keep going no matter what.
Pretty much. It tells the story of the Prophet Muhammad as an example of incredible persistence against ridicule, opposition, everything. Just kept going.
So how do you cultivate persistence? Is it just willpower?
The book offers 4 steps, actually. Practical steps to build a habit.
Okay, what are they?
1. Definite purpose backed by burning desire. Know why you're persisting. 2. A definite plan, continuously acted upon. Don't just wish, do.
Right.
3. A mind closed to negative influences. Protect your focus from doubt, fear, discouragement, whether from others or yourself.
Guard your thoughts.
Exactly. And 4. Alliance with a mastermind group. Draw strength and support from others who encourage your persistence.
That makes sense. Support is crucial.
Definitely. It's hard to persist entirely alone.
Okay, finally. We can't talk about achieving big goals without talking about fear, right? The book calls them ghosts.
Yes, Outwitting the 6 Ghosts of Fear. It identifies 3 main enemies of achievement: indecision, doubt, and fear.
And they're linked.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
Indecision often comes first, maybe from lack of purpose. That breeds doubt, and doubt crystallizes into fear. It's a cycle.
Okay, and the 6 basic fears are?
Poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. The book argues most other fears are variations of these 6.
And the fear of poverty is seen as the worst.
Often the most destructive. Yes. Its symptoms: indifference, indecision, doubt, worry, being overcautious, procrastination. Sound familiar?
Uh-huh. All things that stop you from taking action.
Exactly. It also touches on fear of ill health, how it can lead to, imagining illnesses.
Hypochondria.
Could be. And fear of old age, often being linked back to fear of poverty or becoming dependent.
Interesting. Is there a 7th fear?
Sort of. It calls it the 7th basic evil: susceptibility to negative influences, letting other people's negativity or bad advice seep in. Guarding your mind against that is crucial.
So actively filtering what you let in.
Mm-hmm. Building immunity to negativity.
Wow. Okay, so bringing this all together, Think and Grow Rich really is a whole philosophy, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It's centered on the power of your mind, harnessing desire, building faith, using imagination.
Making organized plans, finding that mastermind support.
Making clear decisions, being incredibly persistent, and actively tackling your fears. Those are the fundamentals.
So, for the learner listening right now, hopefully this deep dive has given you that shortcut you wanted, a way to grasp the core wisdom, those key insights.
Yeah, hopefully some real aha moments without needing to, digest the entire book right away.
Yeah.
Actionable ideas.
Definitely. So here's a final thought, something to maybe mull over. Of all these principles we've touched on, desire, faith, imagination, planning, decision, persistence, overcoming fear, which one resonates most strongly with you right now in your life?
Good question.
And maybe more importantly, what's one small concrete thing you could do, maybe even today, to start applying that specific principle?
That's a powerful takeaway, making it real.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.
My pleasure. It was great exploring this.